Hashtag Tusks up. Gravitas glory. Which way is it going to swing as we go into game number 2 of the evening? Now, I just want to shout out to the Magpie in that music video as well, of course. That was Send It by Hooligan Hefts. So I hope you're all enjoying today's song of the day from Warner. But there's one specific point where it zooms in on a Magpie, and he looks like he was having a damn good time. So shout outs to the Magpie. Now, we've got to get into the discussion about the game, because we're on schedule for once. How good's that? A game that went under 30 minutes, and we're here, and we have time to chat about game number 2. So, chat we shall. Let's talk Mammoth first. Rusty, who is the players to watch on Mammoth, and why is it potentially the jungle or the bot lane, the newcomers for Mammoth?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know who the people to watch on this team are, right? It's Gudo, and it's definitely Frost. They're the two people that stand out for me. And the way that I see this team, right, is if you've got Gudo early and mid, and you've got Frost mid and late. So it's about how the team can transition their early Gudo advantage into a Frost advantage. Now, unfortunately for them, yesterday was one of the most tragic losses I think we have seen.
Yeah.
They were against clearly not the best of the best piece, right? We've seen that 3 games back-to-back, but they still stepped up. Gudo showed mechanically, it's amazing. He made Diana look very good. You know, it's not just that he looked good, he even made the champion. Like, the absolute mastery that he had over that Diana stood out above the rest of it. It's funny watching Pabu play it afterwards. It's like, that's like, Pabu's fine, but for some reason, Gudo just looks better, right? Playing the champion. The rest of Mammoth got some good team fights, but for the bottom lane for me, I don't think they have enough, and I mean this nicely, I don't think they have enough brain for their mechanics right now. They need to reel it in or increase the brain to actually match where they're currently at. And I think at that point, Mammoth will start actively taking games, where right now they're 0-5.
Okay, well, I need to let you guys know that I feel like we're going to have Diana permabanned against Gudo now, because I don't want to see that again, because that's probably the scariest thing we've seen out of Mammoth, all of the DoorDash LCO, and Split 1 as well. So, Jubes, anything you want to say on the topic before we jump into talking about Gravitas?
Oh, I think Rusty hit the nail on the head, but the thing you need to consider when you say that Diana's going to get banned is that, you know, what do you leave open, right? Like, what's open when Diana is banned? You know, is it the Lulu? Is it the Karma? Is it the Xin Zhao? So it's going to be dangerous territory.
Yeah, so I guess there's just a lot of really strong picks at the moment that allow, you know, this conversation to continue. But let's change that conversation over to Gravitas for now. And Jubes, I'm going to be throwing it over to you here. Hope you're good at catching, because this segue is going to be insane. Hyose, he's beautiful. He's a mid laner, and you know nothing about mid laning because you're a jungler. Tell me everything you know about mid laning.
I mean, says who though, really? I know a lot about mid lane, and I do know that the RA pick that these guys keep picking is definitely not working, and I'm sure Rusty would agree with me. It works sometimes, then it looks good, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't look so good. Now, you know, this team, they really just need to find champions that work for themselves. I think they've done that with the Xin Zhao, with the Volibear, with the Kano being on those ganking, you know, early pressure junglers. But in terms of finding a bot lane picks that work, in terms of finding some stability in the mid lane, that's where Gravitas will really do themselves some justice. Because we know they know how to play the game, right? You win. They've won a lot of games through backdoors, and the way you win that is through actually having macro or being able to play the side lane. So Gravitas can put it together when grouped, and now they just need to kind of, you know, I guess get the whole puzzle, get the whole puzzle sorted. They got the Rubik's Cube, you know, maybe 2/3 of the way completed. We just got to notch that little edge there.
Notch the edge. Well, you started with hit the nail on the head, so I'm starting to believe you're like some kind of carpenter or something, but that's not what we're here for. Before we do get into the player interviews, we do have some solid content coming out of Gravitas, and it's a recap on, you know, what they think they've done in terms of the last couple of weeks and what they think they can improve on.
Tell me it's not an XPeke. Tell me it's not a 50-minute win here for Gravitas as they look to try and take this one down. Surely, one more auto attack. One more auto attack and they win the game. I've lost my mind.
Split 1 was basically just like a trialing period. We were all just fairly new, rookies. We didn't really know what we were doing.
We had no one to lead the team, and we had no direction being given to us. We came in there trying to grow. We were new players. We didn't really understand how the game worked in comp. We're just a bunch of solo queue players. The biggest thing is that we built rapport together. We've kind of come together as a team. We work more cohesively. in that we understand everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and then we try to compensate fairly for each one.
There were a few games that we should have won that we got upset about a little bit.
Down and Claire again with an R ultimate comboed with the shock ultimate, the shock wave indeed. Oh dearie me, Gravitas, for a moment I thought there was some hope.
I think in general the team environment has been quite positive recently though. I think we've been performing quite well and improving a lot.
We're aiming towards making playoffs. We want to try show that we are who we are. We're not just some bottom tier team, and we hope that we can display that. We really think that every team is beatable, and we will basically put on a good fight every single game. I don't think any game will be a breeze. I don't think anyone will be able to take games off us really easily.
Yeah, self-improvement is, I mean, that's the ideal goal for here, because like, yeah, you want to achieve greater things.
We are excited to play as like a new Gravitas, but also not to be underlooked as the Gravitas from Split 1. If you underestimate us, it's at your own demise.
I guess that's sort of rang true with the last couple of weeks as well. Everyone that has underestimated Gravitas has really paid the price. Now, Jubes, I don't want to keep you from your job. I know you're a carpenter, but you're a damn good interviewer as well. So who do you have down on the sidelines?
I got my two favorite players. I got Gudo and Akano, the two men in the jungle, maybe a little bit biased. Guys, well, I'll start with you, Gudo. Big performance coming out of you against Peace. Unfortunately, you weren't able to get the win. But how do you think you are going as a player and your trajectory in the LCO so far?
It feels getting better, but it's like there's difference between getting better and you win. So to be honest, like so far we lost all the game, but I wanna feel like yeah, that was better. I wanna like be happy for the win.
Okay. And Akano, how do you think you've been going since you've come into the LCO? Because you've put up some very big performances, and if you don't mind me saying, you seem to like that really aggressive style. You know, that gank heavy, that gank focus, Zinzao, volley bear, really get your lanes ahead. So how do you think you've been faring and your playstyle?
Well, my playstyle has always been the ganking champions, and I will do anything I can do to help my team in any ways, so they can carry late game.
Oh, nice guy! What a nice guy. Gudo, you know, what are the positives that you took away from the Peace game? Do you think that's enough to beat Gravitas today?
Yes, few of the problem, we can fix it, then we can win today.
Yeah, and Akano, I know a little bit of a rough one as well yesterday, but you know, talk to me about how you see yourselves beating Mammoth. Where do the advantages lie? Is it just going to be a pure mechanics max? Or do you think maybe you're just going to play the side lane and maybe you end up with a win through backdooring again? I think we labeled you guys like the unofficial backdoor team, by the way. I don't know if you watched the broadcast or heard.
You never know, it might happen again tonight.
And so, do you think that you're going to be able to get your teams the lead, or is it going to be more of like you have to wait till team fights break out?
I think tonight's game we'll be playing through side lanes and just win through macro.
Oh, fair enough. I'm excited to see it because you two guys really put on a show when you hit Summoner's Rift, and I mean, everything goes through you guys, and I can't wait to see you battle it out. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love them guys as well, man. This part's fun. You don't have to flame anyone. You just compliment everyone, and everyone's nice to you. Like, what? You know what I mean? This is a new gig. Oh, Natty, you can cast.
He's
Just
stolen
jackable
it.
trades, mate.
Like when we had Chaz stealing the interview spot. Now we've actually got Jubes here doing it as well. So let's have a quick look at the predictions before we do jump towards Champ Select. And I'm going with Twitch chat. We've got a couple of Gravitases here initially. You want to run me through that one, Rusty, and then skim me afterwards?
I mean, I'm pretty high on Gudo after yesterday. I just am more convinced that Gravitas being able to get early leads as they've done consistently will be more than enough. Like for me, it's whoever gets ahead in the first 7 minutes is probably going to be able to take this one. But I really didn't know at the end of the day, so I just picked the team I had more faith in.
Okay. Skimmy, what about you?
Yeah, I think we've seen a little bit more consistency as a collective, as a whole, from Gravitas, right? They've taken some big wins against the likes of Pentanet as well as Peace. They've shown that they've clearly upgraded themselves from split 1 to 2, as has the entire league, right? But I think, touching on what Rusty mentioned with the introductions from MF, you're looking at a couple of key players really playing at their true potential. The other players still trying to ease into that. So at the end of the day, right, you know, it is 5v5. I think that Gravitas have just a little bit more to offer.
What about yourself, Jubes? You've gone with Gravitas as well. Any reason why? And are we all just going to sort of ask, can we sort of just come up with a reason why Nat's gone for Mammoth? Is it just belief or underdog picks?
I don't think that Natty picking Mammoth is unreasonable. I think this game was actually quite hard to pick. The way Goodo played, the way that Frost's been playing, it is hard to determine. The only reason I went for Gravitas in this particular game was because I think the way Akano plays, which is like a bit of a madman, I think it benefits the way that this game is going to play out. It's going to be scrappy, it's going to be chaotic, people will be dying to ganks, and Akano's going to be doing more of it.
Yeah. Now, I just want you all to know that I'm bloody hungry. So as you can see here, exclamation DoorDash in the chat. Use that QR code, go back to the past broadcast, quickly watch it back and get the QR code. Make sure you sign up to DoorDash and get yourself some scrumptious bloody dinner, because I'm not only hungry for food, I'm hungry for more action. DoorDash LCO, game number 2 of the night is ready. Mammoth and Gravitas going head to head right now.
Certainly is, Mac, and I am keen to try and figure out really how the rest of this league stacks up, I suppose, really, here, Rusty, because we've seen that this schedule in particular, these 4 games on offer tonight are going to look to try and dismay or dismiss that, you know, these teams are all evenly matched. That can we try and find out some definitive, we are the best team right now?
Catch me Da Vinci coding, working my way out through why there's a Ziggs ban here. Like, this is some kind of crazy top 3 priority pick, and it isn't a 4-5 ban, but nevertheless,
yeah,
I know Ziggs has seen some buffs. I wouldn't expect it to be a first 3. This does leave open both the Lulu and the Karma, and if we want to talk about things that are in the wheelhouse of, one, both junglers who love to play, you know, aggressive Xin Zhao style champions, Xin of course being the one banned, but also 2, Kyose, happy to be a Lulu or a Karma, so leaving up both of those choices, I think you'll find that Kyose, you know, the man who hit rank 1 playing these champions, is going to be a happy camper in this draft.
Certainly will be, and it does start to beg the question, has Ziggs been a pickup that's displayed itself a few times in scrims, right? Not to know what those scrims have looked like, but you certainly wouldn't be banning that away unless there's been something that you've experienced and not had too much success against. But as you say, you know, with so many strong picks right now, especially the likes of Lulu and Karma being very much up there in the rankings of the top 5 most banned with those available, which is a bit of a blind trade-off between both teams to pick those up for free.
So what it can be, Skibby, as I have played and seen this before, even when I was coaching with a player like Gunkrab, Ziggs Karma wins every bottom lane, right? You could pick Lulu Cogmore, and it is one of the strongest early game 2v2 trading lanes. Not a lot of things can deal with you, but a Ziggs and a Karma don't have to deal with you. They just throw stuff at you from too far away. You know, you can't walk towards them really. They have more push than you do, and you're stuck under your turret. So you're not actually able to play the game the way that you would like. So it could be that they wanted the Lulu, they wanted to pick the Cog with it, so they prioritize the Ziggs instead of the Karma for maybe to make sure the Lulu stays up. I'm not certain, but that's what I'm thinking.
So it makes you wonder, given that there are some big tendencies to go for these heavy poke lanes where the likes of Fresh and so on still continue to be the strongest, but can't forget about what it looks like when it was a major bot lane meta, especially when Caitlyn also was paired in there if you wanted the AD variant. Plenty of damage. There's the Ashe target man towards Thomas Shen, who's been one of the biggest players of that champion right now. Has popped up 3 times in the last 5 matches they played, so definitely a player that's keen to showcase what it can do. We're going to get the Lucian and the Zed denied. He hasn't played the Zed just yet, but not going to allow him to find any success on an AD mage, as Kyose no doubt will be looking to try and find control or a counter pick of his own.
Yeah, both of those champions banned are physical solo lane champions, mostly mid lane, mostly away from Wei. Just looking at other options that still exist, you know, you've got your Viego, you've got your Set, you still have physical champions that are there. For me, they're mostly going to be Nectar champions, however. So we'll see where they choose to go with this one. Still does mean that Wei could play whatever he would like. Orianna, you know, while she isn't the best champion right now, does actually work as a mid laner in a comp like this. If you do Ori mid with a Set top lane, you have a sick comp, because one, you've got an extra shielding tool that goes onto the Cogmore, right? So if the team fights become around just Frost, that's awesome. But you've also got a more of a wombo, right, that works with the set, that works with the equalizer, and gives you a lot of space and zone control as a 5v5.
We've yet to see Mammoth play Lulu in the top lane. They played it once. It wasn't the bottom half of the map. It was the Lulu cog. That was yesterday against Peace. But it does beg questions. Will it be again? It would seem to be that way if that's going to be a Kiana getting Hobbit here. Way very proficient at that champion. A bit of inside track as to why Gravitas have banned away some of these AD assassins. And they've left the counter pick matchup here for no surprise in Kyose, who will be looking for an answer towards that. Quick note though, the Jinx lock-in only been played once so far this split. Definitely a pick that got played a whole bunch last time. Only one game so far, and that was played by Violet.
Yeah, I think most likely it is going to be the Karma support, but it's possible that they flex that role. So we're just waiting to confirm that one. Of course, seeing the Kiana after knowing the Zed and the Lucian are gone does open up your champion pool for things that can control the mid lane. Generally speaking, and as we have seen locally and internationally, Kiana's struggle until they don't. That really is just the way that it plays. They have to run Ignite, first of all, to have a kill threat. Without that kill threat, they can't really play the lane. And they usually don't exist until about level 3. So any champion that can have kill threat pre-level 3 or have a really strong 2v2 threat post 3 is going to be something that can be quite prolific there in making sure that wave stays down. Now, LeBlanc has decent wave control, pretty similar to Kiana, has decent kill threat, but is running the teleport. They do have an outstanding 2v2, right? LeBlanc chains enable so much movement from a jungler who needs setup to actually gank middle lane, which is one of the hardest lanes to gank.
Could be a lot of CC that you touch on. Comfort really for those 2v2s. Worth noting that the Rumble and Kiana opening here is actually exactly how Memphis started off the second campaign. They played that into order. They found a lot of success, especially in the early portions of that game. But by the end of it, Wei was ulting, finding multiple members, but just wasn't able to be enough of a threat on his own single-handedly to do it justice. But the supreme display of talent really was fitting for its name.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is not something that is unfamiliar to us, seeing it from Mammoth. Different beasts that they're up against this time, and a lot of the pressure that we said may be seen around the jungle role, and the jungle players specifically more than anything else. You know, a Gudo and a Kano are going to go head-to-head. We have to look at what priority in those lanes really means and what it looks like. And, you know, so far we've seen so much top focus from Gravitas. Saffron, his signature Camille, you would say at this point. I mean, it's a difficult time to be Gudo.
Certainly does, and here's a big matchup to start off your week number 3. It is Mammoth taking on Gravitas, and as we get ourselves rocking and rolling with this one, we do have the coach of Gravitas on standby with Poltron.
Hello, hello. Good to be back.
Hey mate, how are you? Yeah, good to have you once again. Thank you for your time. I want to ask, to start off with, it's been a really good start to the split. You mentioned back in our week 1 interview that you would be a team challenging for playoffs. How do you think you're tracking along so far?
I do think so far we've, definitely shown that, we're not the bottom 2 team that we were last split. We took out Peace, which is always a good feeling. We really hope to take down Mammoth today, round us off at 3-3. And if we keep going at this trajectory, I do think we will probably end up being 4th place at the end of the split.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly been a fair few upsets already so early on into the split. Talk to me about this matchup in particular against Mammoth, right? Back in Split 1, it was a 50-50 with you both taking a game each. How much significance do you put on a matchup like this in particular to try and break away from the bottom half of the pack?
Well, I think in Split 2, all the teams have gotten a lot better and also a lot closer. I think every single team can beat each other team. I think this game should be a fairly easy game for us just because everyone is on a comfort pick. We are confident in taking out Mammoth. I do think the only way we will lose today is if we disrespect Mammoth, let Wei pop off somehow or Gudo pop off, as he's been having some pretty impressive performances on stage lately.
Yeah, certainly has. And, going into this one, we've seen a fair few signature picks for the likes of Camille here for Safi, Akano playing the volley bear and so on.
Yep.
Would it be fair to say that, respect what we're seeing with Mammoth, with a comp that wants to fight, you're a little bit more focused and refined when it comes to macro?
Ooh, I definitely think this will hopefully not be a 50-minute banger game, more about, 25 to 30-minute backdoor game from us. This is definitely a comp we've played a lot. We know how we want to execute it. So I do think, in the end, we'll come out on top.
Fantastic. And just on a final note before I let you guys go, and Wish you guys the best of luck. Talk to me. There's a brand new sponsorship over at the Gravitas camp. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so Gravitas have partnered up with Scratch. Scratch is an Australian-owned dog food company, and they love dogs. We are currently asking fans to send in dog pics to be included in the Gravitas Scratch dog jersey. Your dog will be on the LCO later this split. So if you want to submit your dog and have it on our jerseys, get your entries in at gravitas.gg.
There you go. Could be a bit of part of some esport history there. Fortune, pleasure as always, mate. And we'll catch up soon, yeah?
Thank you.
There you hear it. Interesting to note, really, how teams are, you know, saying, sure, the end result is important, but not to put too much significance onto it so early on.
Above all else, I do love dogs, Skippy. Let's focus on the game at hand here. I think overall, you know, there is a kill that we will get to in terms of this conversation, but overall things have gone pretty much as expected. Eyes on Wei right now. He does have grass that can survive a gank.
Can. Wei gonna dash on through. Gets a clutch shield there, but it's not gonna be enough. Shinky tried to be the hero, but it's Akano. And finds himself a first blood for Gravitas.
Shinky does super well to be there, though. So a special credit to him, though, in the communication of Mammoth to make sure that they're in the area to try and stop that, because it requires 3 people. It requires the flash from Akano to secure it. And at the end of the day, that was potentially easier than it was even ended up being, right? You've got Ignite still there for Kyosei, just couldn't get in range. The chains missed. Safa does as much as you can, but the follow-up was lacking. But at the end of the day, that's the Camille, right? Like, you pick Camille, you pick Kiana, you lose mid lane to level 3, and now he's died at level 4, is going to be having a roughie. That will continue because the Ignite still persists, and what this means is that Gravitas have given them something back on the board going super hard their way, particularly with the extra minions that are about to crash. But at the same time, against the Grain, Gudo ganks bot lane, ganks for the Lulu Cogmore, and is able to find first blood for himself. That is just as significant for Mammoth.
It certainly is, and a lot of praise has to go towards these 2 junglers, right? You know, Juve's mentioning in their little interview how well they've integrated into their teams and been a sticking force and a welcome introduction. Always a happy time for a Volibear to get a kill when he does commit that flash, especially, you know, pre-6. So both junglers tracking along quite nicely, and clear identities as to wherever they go. I'm sure there's going to be a fight that breaks out.
I think it's funny listening to the way that they both express how they jungle as well. You know, I think a Gudo definitely wants to get himself going. He's a big team fighter and wants to be able to carry his friends across the line, where Akano hits me with the happy wife, happy life type of situation.
Well, we'll be happy about this one, because Kyosei looking to try and land him in place with the chains. It connects. In comes the stun, and there's the chomp, the feast. And a second kill to Akano's name.
I'm sure his mid lane wife's pretty happy with the outcome on that one. 2 deaths in mid lane. Kiana definitely struggling. Try as Wei might to be in this game. He's being focused very hard. And you'd have to say with the Zed Lucian bans that they gave towards Mammoth, things going very well for Gravitas with their mid lane priority, as they translate that potentially to top. Not level 6 for the Volibear, so the tower will hurt.
Yeah, he's halfway towards that all-important level 6, but they are still going to try and go for this gank here. It is a bit of a weird situation, right? Minion's still around. That allows Mammoth to look to try and turn things around. A suplex into the wall, trying to buy Nectar as much time as possible. Can he take down one? He burns the flash to try and close the distance, but he can't find a trade-off kill with the turret working in his favor.
Yeah, at the moment, that was maybe the best case scenario for Nectar in terms of how they were going to gank him, because in one more level for Ricardo, they can disengage the turret multiple ways. So that was Safa using his ultimate to try and disengage and reset the aggro, still has to flash to get out with his life, while the rest of Gravitas do the work. The mid lane priority that they have won themselves has paid off into top lane and is starting to become oppressive for Mammoth to deal with. And that's pain. That's not where they want to be. You know, they want Gudo to hit level 6, be able to influence the map, get those ganks off, scale up steadily for Frost and Shinky down in bottom lane, hit that 1-item spike and look for those team fights. Gravitas don't need those team fights. They're just going to make it all themselves. They're going to generate those plays. They're going to dive the turrets easily with the composition that they've got, and they're just going to run away with the game.
It seems to be that case. Look at that kill participation so far from Akano. Everything has gone through him. Still not even level 6, but he's just done so much on the map. Multiple kills. Now the first dragon in their inventory. Double chains really found here between the Karma and the LeBlanc, just making it very easy for him to find any lane to turn his attention towards.
So from this position, Akano's going to give away a couple of camps. He'll get himself closer to 6. That'll be his priority. Currently top 2 of gold with Gudo, so both junglers, as you would expect, are looking to have a pretty big influence. So next breakpoint for me looks like it's going to be bottom. You've got LeBlanc and Volibear moving down here, but you've already got Gudo in the area doing Krug, so he can be here at a moment's notice to chuck down the equalizer.
He's got to be careful, he doesn't have flash just yet, but it's looking like the rest of Gravitas 4v2. There's the equalizer, looking to try and turn things around. It's not going to be enough because Shinky's already died and the rest of Gravitas can disengage away to safety. Gudo jumps in, he committed just a fraction too much. No. And now the mid-jungle duo of Gravitas are absolutely monstrous.
He overheated with the scrap shield, Skibby. He flashed W'd and just watched as he died. That's the saddest situation for the Rumble. Mismanaged his overheating. I mean, that could have been a Flame Spitter overheat, right? That he was able to deal some damage. Maybe they get a trade kill. That was worst case scenario for Gudo. That's not the way you want it to go. Frost kites the best that he can, but again, this mid lane gap is enormous.
Certainly is. Pressure relieved here from Safa. We heard that he mentioned. I love this champion, but also one of the biggest voices on the team right now, acting as a shot caller. And he is no doubt very content with how this game is playing out. You know, it's a champion that wants to scale up, wants to have time to find its own relevant power. As does the Cogman on the side of Mammoth, but the rest of his team so far finding great success. And Akano still very much keen to forget about these waves, and we'll forget about that ultimate there as Wade look to try and find success. As I keep talking, that's a beautiful Hextech ultimatum. It's going to buy a little bit of time here as Akano tries to pick up the pieces, looks to try and cycle through the chomp and finds it, takes him down. But may he just burn to the Rumble. The Flame Spitter Redemption, he gets a shutdown, an all-important one, but it might just be a delayed trade as both junglers die in top lane.
Yeah, Kyosa's going to be able to get that one. Floppy ensures it, cuts off the escape route. No way out for Gudo. Now, the trade is still there. Yes, it was a shutdown that goes the way of the Rumble. Gudo getting all the money as he needs if he's going to have any chance at carrying this one. Wei has no ultimate, so he's not really got a crazy amount of kill threat down here. It is just a serrated Dirk Kiana. Level 7, yes, the Ignite and Flash are there, so there's a chance. We'll get to see this fight in top one more time, though, because we missed the very beginning of this one. It is Safa fighting Nectar. Yeah, the Neck does ult him into a minion wave. It is a cannon wave. Not a lot of good trade situations there. Does what he can, Safa, to survive for as long as possible. Knows the reinforcements are available, but Gudo sneaks in here just a little bit too fast. He's maybe able to make sure a little bit extra goes their way. There's a 2 for 2 in the end.
As a whole though, Gravitas still tracking along quite nicely. They're going to go from bot to top now and find themselves the Herald. Very strong, very hard for a 2v2 to fairly take place. Wei, his first real moment of engage, proved to be too successful. Still waiting for him to find his feet in the split 2. Only a player that had moments of magic in split 1, and definitely was a player to watch out for when he popped off for the Diacubs in the OCS, but has yet to truly dazzle and showcase what he can do right now. And he seems to be in a fair bit of trouble once again. The ultimate goes out and it just hits the terrain where nobody stands. Gudo will find a trade though, so his jungler's in the area. And Akano just tracking along nicely, but not quick enough.
Gudo is Mammoth right now. Wei just got his ankle so broken by that play from the LeBlanc, from Kiyose, just picks him apart. Once again, we have not seen the ultimate connect from this Kiana. Flash still there and ready, but has been left wanting. And it's a 4-1 mid laner, so yeah, Rumble, another shutdown. Doing absolutely fantastic work right now for Mammoth, but he is holding together a leaky boat. And he's sitting there with a bucket. The bucket may not be big enough.
Definitely keeping him afloat for the meantime though. Doing a whole heap of work. Try and be the difference maker here, and that equalizer, no doubt, once he starts to get some damage, which he certainly does between the Sork Boots and the Night Harvester, is going to pack a punch. A lot of uptime there for him to play around with. Yet to truly see that full 5v5. Individually, Gravitas have seemingly outperformed, with the exception with Nectar finding a good trade into Safa. But the timing, the angles, and the team as a whole for Gravitas has been superb as they'll find themselves the second dragon of the game.
And you know what we saw yesterday from Frost is he did go the greedy AD carry build on his Kog'Maw. I believe it was the Kraken Slayer style when he had the Lulu there, and didn't unfortunately team quite the best. But the point is the build that he went for. So this isn't going to be a wit's end which would be useful against the LeBlanc and some of the magic damage that a Volibear deals. It's not going to be a Kog'Maw that plays for himself, is the point. Not building the Randuins afterwards. He's going to have a Lulu everywhere he goes. That's the way that you play it out. If you go the greedy AD carry build, it is because you have a Lulu to protect you. And we saw that critically fail for Mammoth in consecutive team fights yesterday, even with an 5,000, 8,000 gold lead, whatever it was, his way. Once again,
he's just not having any success in this lane. The chain connects again. He's just getting outmatched. He's getting danced upon. And Kyose flexing his mid-power duress. Here comes Gudo once again. The Equalizer not going to do too much. He's actually clipped outside of the map, but a haymaker onto 2 is absolutely huge and forces Gravitas to run to their base. They had to run back to this top tier turret. They have to run away from the Flame Spitter, which quite honestly, they could just take down 2 people. Gudo is Mammoth.
Gudo throws the Equalizer out to bloody Narnia just to prove he doesn't even need it to kill them. That's how good the jungler... Sorry, I can't keep a straight face saying that. Still well played after the Equalizer completely whiffed. 5-2 is the jungler of Mammoth. I mean, you can see it. He's doing everything that he absolutely can to try and get them across the line, but more importantly, keep them in the game at the current moment. So far, I mean, we said, is the bucket big enough? He's doing a lot of bloody work here, Skibby. He's really tried his best. But this mid lane difference could start leaking over to be too much of an issue.
It certainly is. We saw what he did on the Diner yesterday up against Peace. He really was the difference maker. Once it hit the late game, a few nerves, a few uncertainties, and it all came to a bit of a sad conclusion. As the whole, though, it's 15 minutes into this game, and the economy isn't too far gone, despite that major power source in Gudo's favor.
True. Realistically, they well and truly are still in this game. If we keep in mind, you know, whenever we're not talking about bottom lane, that usually means that a Kog'Maw is scaling. Not that Jinx doesn't scale, it just means that the bottom laners are both content doing their thing down here. And we haven't seen a team fight really yet either. You know, neither team willing to teleport down to bottom to make some kind of 5v5 play. The Drakes haven't been contested. This next dragon that spawns in 2 minutes, it is the Ocean, and it is the Ocean Soul. So it could be something that Mammoth draw the line at. Gudo being level 11 is probably sitting on a bit of cash here as well. Should be able to buy himself a decent amount of items for that fight, and that may be the point that they draw the line. We will see. As it currently stands, you know, Gudo, we speak about him a lot, but we have to give some extra credit to Nectar at this point as well. He's been doing a lot of good work in his lane, even with all the focus that may go there.
Certainly has in terms of wave state and manipulation and ability to communicate quite well with his jungler. They'll say focus your resources top, and there will be a just reward at the end of things. Gravitas have made the Dragon just a fraction easier now, having broken down that bottom turret. Forcing back the Kog'Maw Lulu. Locking him in place, but it doesn't get much easier here for the Kiana. You mentioned how rough it can be in that laning phase. Sitting 0-4 right now, still desperate to try and get the first item complete. Sitting on mere components towards the lethality that really makes you the nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, basically every Kiana lane, Skimmy, is like, it's a flowchart of can I kill them? If yes, I can play the lane. If no, I cannot actually walk up and hit a minion if they are in the lane. It really is the way that it feels. So you just start throwing abilities at waves, and if you do that, you've actually started pushing, and suddenly they're holding a freeze against you, and it's a disaster. Particularly if you're 0-4, and the LeBlanc, while she doesn't get a lot of health, has so much damage and can actually just out-damage you, and has too much mobility to deal with. You really are just left picking up the scraps. And once the game breaks open to the state it currently is in, which is, mid laners in side lanes, even worse, because now you're in a long lane. Nothing you can do.
As the Prowler's Claw though, so worth noting that he will have that damage amplification, which may just be enough to perhaps not pick apart the LeBlanc, but at least try and find a straggler elsewhere and get themselves back on winning terms. Kyose has to be careful here, but yeah, just the ability to navigate compromising positions and not get punished for it is making it very difficult here, as the rest of Mammoth are looking to try and group up, and Gravitas quite content just leaving stuff to the side lanes and doing a dance.
I'm going to have to start looking up different ways to say Gudo is currently everything for Mammoth. We'll see how this plays out as the Dragon is ready to go and is already being looked at by Gravitas. This could be the fight that decides if Mammoth are in this game or not.
And it could be way invisible at the moment. That's a fantastic equalizer, the true display of talent. Locks in place Kyose. It's not going to be enough, though, to try and deny this early Dragon, as that's a soul point that's very much up for the taking here from Gravitas. They find one kill, but they're going to lose a Dragon and a turret for it.
They're going to look for a Kano here. They will be able to find him, so definitely another kill goes the way of Gudo. Try his way might to steal that one. And look, it was a good engage from the Kiana, so they do a lot of good work there, Mammoth. It's just, again, you know, it's 3 Dragons. Way needs to also be very respectful here, because there is a raid boss around the corner at any moment. If you ever get rid of that grass element, you could die.
He's cancelled his recall twice, as Kyose. He's certainly keen. He's got into the brush, and as soon as he reveals himself there, Wei realizes this is not a wave I can farm safely anymore. Despite it all, though, the goal continues to be dead even. Big odds on Gravitas playing for that Ocean Soul, however, so they're going to be very content with, despite it being even as a whole, and knowing exactly where the power lies in Mammoth. They have bigger goals in mind.
Yeah, I guess the question we had to ask there, Skimmy, before I got distracted by it, what was happening bottom, was is 2 kills worth it when Gravitas were able to take a turret top lane, secure the Dragon, and now get pressure around the map as a whole as well? The fact that they're able to translate the deaths in bot lane to a Rift Herald somehow makes that even worse and adds more insult to injury, because basically, you know, first of all, Safa's split pushing. He is the one who picks that up. If you ever forget about Safa, if you teleport to make a play elsewhere, you are doomed. He will summon the Herald in your face and take an inhibitor. There's a really dangerous game that you have to play now.
Zero straight from Wei. Now he knows he's been juked by this one too many times. This time it connects. This time! This time it just does not matter. Wei, even when he plays it perfectly, it's just too little too late.
It was going so well, Skibby. All of the chains had missed. There was no reset on the dash. He's dead.
And he is. Will Gudo be another one to get himself onto the score sheet? Floppy survives, just outranges him. There's the suplex. Thomas Shen, the focus, and the one that falls on down. It's Frost that picks up the shutdown. That's now Kog'Maw on the score sheet. And an all-important kill to allow him to be the greedy, item scaling, empowered AD carry.
And Safa actually wastes his teleport there for no real reason. So the side lane pressure that he has with the Rift Herald being able to be summoned isn't as good as it was. And Mammoth, they're going to be able to look at the Baron. They've actually just cleared a ward right in the face of Gravitas. So they know that this is being done. Akano waiting in the wings with his ultimate and his flash. So the steal's always there. Gravitas are going to come and contest this without a doubt.
Want to take that 50-50 though. Rightfully so. They're going to back away from this one. Safa just hits them with a bit of a curveball. Do you want to go for that Baron? Do you want to try and call our bluff for this? Or do we just look to try and open 3 turrets in the mid lane?
Ball switches back to the other court once again. You know, the teleport being forced by Safa. Mammoth looking to make a play. I think the call to hit Baron was quite clever. Wei dies, and that's just another day on the Rift at this point. Skimmy, I don't even think we need to play-by-play that one anymore. Baron definitely on the cards.
We hype him up as a player that loves to play the Enchanters, but if you give him a hard AP carry, this is what he can do. Safa looking to try and navigate the advantage, trying to jump out of that pit. It's the Hextech Ultimatum looking to try and buff away here from the Equilibrium. I should say the Equalizer, but it's not going to be enough to try and equalize this situation because the Baron's being picked up. There's the kill on towards the set. And now Gravitas are on the hunt. It kind of has the flash, has the Stormbringer. It's going to look to try and jump on in. And the Thunder crashes from under and just hits them slap bang in the face. They might look to try and go for a bit of a delayed ace here. Gudo, the sole survivor, the one you've hung your hat on here to try and win this game here for Mammoth. He gets picked apart. And the base is just getting outright destroyed.
Yeah, Wei tries his best, but he's just too far behind to be able to execute any of the low members of Gravitas. Their Baron Wave going to crash here as well, so the inhibitor is destined to fall, but they're going to choose to be safe this time. You know, they've got Safa split pushing in a side lane instead of fully committing towards mid, so they're just going to get as much gold as they possibly can. And this game was fairly even in gold. It's just ballooned out to over 7,000. Nice little polymorph from Shinky, who does play this one decently well. Frost and Shinky are sitting together, so we can call that a pretty big win overall for Mammoth until Nectar sees his moment, right? He flashes in, tries to use the ultimate, and the superplex just goes completely backwards and gets countered by the raw damage that Gravitas were putting out. They chase this one down. Gudo definitely going to fall as he jukes his way into the volley bear. And just no damage there from Kiana. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't enough.
And the end result seems to be that Gravitas now have a Baron buff, have multiple kills, has a sizable gold lead, and are now shopped up and ready to play for the Ocean Soul.
Have to contest. If you don't contest, the game ends, so the fight could take place here. Could just be a smite battle.
The 50-50 breaks out. Gudo the hero takes it, denies the soul. Akano gonna die. Frost finds the shutdown. Wade finally hits an ult and gets the kill.
Look at mid as well, though. There is a wave with Safa, so it's a good play from Mammoth. Gudo keeps them in the game. Gudo does absolutely everything. It's just fun to say his name at this point, but he's also caught.
Yosei did not participate. He wants to pick apart the members of Mammoth. Safa now on the flank, having taken an inhibitor, is looking to try and take down more. There's the polymorph, the ultimate afterwards, the stopwatch to buffer as the TP comes on through. Safa might just be lammed to the walls. He tries to hook shot away, but he gets interrupted on the second dash. And, well, they've held on just a fraction longer.
Skivvy, I'm not going to say it just yet, right? You know what? I'm going to say it. Gravitas have got enough of a lead that they should be able to close this game out. So this is the exact moment that they don't close the game out for 30 minutes until they backdoor a side lane. That's where we're at. So I hope you're all ready. Buckle up. There's no other way that I see this go. Tell me I'm wrong, Skivvy.
I'm just
Please?
cursed by that idea. But is Kyose cursed by this positioning? No, going to be able to dash away once again. Akano waiting on the wings. He's quite content just to back him up and zone him away. I suppose Mammoth probably the best case scenario there. Sure, they lost that mid inhibitor, but they were able to try and zone away key members and not fall victim to the Ocean Soul empowerment amongst everything else that was going against them.
We have to take a real hard look at exactly what Gravitas should be able to do in this situation. Right? It is a 4,000 gold difference, so it is not game-winning in and of itself with item gaps. The way that they're going to play right now is they're most likely going to keep Safa in a side lane with that teleport still being present and available. He's already had a pretty rough time when it comes to team fights, going in and engaging onto a Lulu Cogmore. You get out-damaged and you get polymorphed instantly, so you are kind of a QSS forced champion if you want to even team fight. So Safa's going to play for these side lanes where he has level advantages and should be able to out-trade Nectar. He's also gone for the Ravenous Hydra this time. So you should never see the rest of Gravitas on the same screen as Safa if they want to split push their way to victory. But they need to be able to synchronize their waves and play around the fact that they have a Camille split pushing, and that is not what they're doing so far.
You should see that wave topside crash on through, making it very easy for Mammoth to rotate between top and bot to answer to this Camille. Worth noting, though, that some of that power has now transferred across onto Frost, so he's a very strong target, and whilst Mammoth not necessarily wanting to play for the macro, if they do force a fight, if Mammoth do find an angle at which they can just force a CC and a numbers advantage, then the Cogmore will output significant damage to try and cripple this 4-1 setup.
So they're just going to choose to reset here. We've got 1 minute until Baron spawns, so this reset does seem to be entirely about getting some topside control. They may even bring Safa for just getting the vision there. For the side of Mammoth, all of the time that we talk about things that Gravitas can do is time that they're going to have a Cogmore and a Lulu getting more and more gold in their pockets. Because you've broken the mid lane inhibitor, okay? So you've actually given a constant wave of farm to Mammoth. Baron buff is a point where you can end the game if you get the buff 100%, but just keep that in mind. This is money that goes freely into the hands of Mammoth until Gravitas make good plays that give them the victory.
Might be a little bit easier now as we do have a stopwatch here onto Frost, and also the Wit's End that you wanted to see coming out of this Cogmore, so maybe just a fraction more durable. Has the flash, has the heal, and has the ability just to try and run down members like this, but might just die for free. Oh no, the wild growth, and it overlaps there. With the stopwatch, he's just an easy picking. He might just die, he certainly does. The Ignite takes him down, and just needs to shut that here for this insanely fed LeBlanc that gets himself a double kill. The carries of Gravitas picking apart members of Mammoth are just falling one by one. Gudo from start to finish tries to continue to be the saving grace. going to be a delayed ace and an ace all the same. That allows Gravitas, with the respawn time is so high, to try and run through mid and run straight towards an exposed Nexus.
Yeah, Mammoth clearly deciding that they're not going to let this game scale, that they want to fight immediately, that there's too much of a threat with a Baron and a Dragon coming up, so they're just going to pick a fight in mid. And Gravitas, more than happy to take that fight, more than happy to win that team fight, Skimmy, and more than happy to take the Nexus afterwards. As a good result for them overall, and a monstrous gapping in mid lane for Kyose.
The end product, Gravitas. There's a happy man on your screen, and Thomas Shen, who was able to output a fair bit, but it's Kyose, the one in mid lane between himself and Akano. Those two, the mid-jungle duo, just outputting so much impact from the very get-go of this game, and saying forget about the farm. The individual brilliance is enough to transition us into just macro advantages, overall objective pressure, and just the ability to almost mind control you to say, we need to force a fight before this overlap between the Baron and Dragon. I'm blown away really from this progress from split 1 to 2 here on Gravitas. And Mac, I mean, you look at a team like this and you hear the Poltron success story of we will be a team in playoffs, you start to believe.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, don't
do.
leave me hanging.
I was just checking. I didn't want to speak before turning up to the party, of course. I just want to say, Akano at the end, he was very, very emotional about that win. You can see the raw passion on his face. He just was still bathing in the love of the game. But no, so Mammoth, it was pretty much Goodo trying to carry them in a backpack, because Wei's usually one of the players you look at here for Mammoth, but he was just being shut down from the get-go. You did say in the interview, in the pre-game interview rather, that Gravitas were going to be focusing a lot on the side lanes. However, that didn't seem to be how they won it. Yes, in the end, it was a lot of Safa doing the split pushing, and it did enable it to be all said and done. But it was essentially just running it straight down mid for the rest of the team that got it over the line. And I dare say there were some moments of brilliance for certain individual players there on Mammoth. But even so, Gravitas, they did close it out. Even though you said it, Rusty, you did say the thing that you said, which I won't repeat.
Thank you.
We were all thinking it. It's like, well, when is that going to happen? It didn't happen. Gravitas managed to close it out before it got too far out of their hands. And look, Skimmy, you're a beautiful man. What was your thoughts on the game?
Just a bit of confusion here. I mean, we highlight the fact that Frost is so strong, and, you know, it was the Goodo show, but finally there were two members that could rock up to the party and give Mammoth a bit of hope. But then Frost then feels like, you know, maybe I can 1v5 now. I've got 3 items. It's time to step up in mid lane. Gets, caught in place there with the Jinx Chompers. Overlaps the ultimate, the Lulu, with the stopwatch, and just very easy. Just a one shot that we saw from Volibear and LeBlanc all game long.
Yeah, it looks like only a couple of players even got to their sort of like 2-item power spikes over on Mammoth. You know, most of them only have 1 there, except for, of course, Cogmore, who's got 3. However, that was not the way that Mammoth were going to win that game, unfortunately. So, it's all said and done, and Gravitas will take another W. And that actually puts them up in that 3-2 scoreline, which is interesting because now they potentially are in a very good position to continue to improve and continue to try to play and make it to the playoffs.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. This is a team that can make playoffs now, right? And I find it interesting looking at the league as a whole, Mac, and I've really struggled with this, but like I don't even know how to stack rank teams anymore. Like if you told me today, like right now, put the teams 1 to 8, I'd give you number 1. And I really don't know what to do afterwards, right? I guess Mammoth are defaulted to last, but even then, every single game has been closer than the score would give you credit.
Yeah, well, we do have someone that deserves a whole lot of credit. That's Jubes. He's down on the side lanes and filling in for Natty today if you're just tuning in. So, Jubes, how you doing? Did you enjoy the game, and who do you have for the post-game interview?
Good game, but to be honest with you, I was trying to stop my mouth from burning, so I DoorDashed me some curry, and legit, I can't feel my mouth, so if I can't talk for my interview, I apologize. But I've got Kyose. Here for my interview. What a seg. I'm actually unreal. Kyose, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Now, my first question, and I mean this respectfully, why do you play Ari when you can play other champs like that? The way you played the bunk, it was majestic, it was beautiful, and you really put the team. You had a backpack on, a big one, and you put the team inside.
Okay, so Wait, when you say do I play Ari, is in solo queue or competitive?
Competitive. You play Ari,
Okay,
and
yeah.
now I look and I see LeBlanc, and I think, okay, you have a deeper champion pool than you actually give yourself credit for. And talk to me about it.
Yeah, so I just pick Ari in comp because it guarantees it's a safe blind, and it guarantees a counter pick for like top lane, because top lane's usually on the carry seat in game. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely can play other champs. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It was a great performance from you, and what does this mean for you in terms of, like, obviously it was only against it was against a team like Mammoth, and you guys said that you were very comfortable or confident in beating them. What does this mean for you? 3-2 now. Where do you kind of see yourself? You're in a much better position than last split. Are there new goals for you now?
Yeah, we definitely have the goal to make playoffs and definitely prove ourselves as a team. And yeah, so we're 3-2, we're in a good position, and I hope all goes well in future games as well. But good luck to the teams that are continuing tonight as well. Yeah.
Too humble. Don't wish them luck. Sorry, I got a few laughs in my ear, so it threw me off. I'm not used to this interviewing part. All good. What do you have individual goals now as a mid laner? Because again, that was a blind of a performance, and you've had a few cheeky ones up and coming. So now, do you kind of want to solidify yourself as the best or one of the best mid laners in the LCO? Or are you just happy doing your job for the team and whatever's required of you?
Yeah, definitely solidifying myself as one of the best mid laners in the LCO is definitely a major goal of mine, and yeah, to also help facilitate the team, and yeah, definitely those two.
Now, the LeBlanc was a little bit of a curveball for me, at least. I wasn't expecting that. Now, do you have anything else up your sleeve that we can get excited about heading into next week or future games?
Yeah. Something very exciting.
So you're not gonna share it with us?
I can't say it. No.
Wait, is it bannable? Is it bannable?
It's bannable if it goes well, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, I felt like that was my career in a nutshell anyway. But
no.
Thanks for joining me.
That's amazing.
Congratulations on the win. I'm actually super happy for you guys, and I can't wait to watch you play again.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
See ya.
Man, I'm sorry for laughing in your ear, but you are just a ball of fun down on the sidelines.
This is a natural,
man.
No,
it was
so good.
Dude, I'll tell you why. It's because I got good kids, man. They're good kids to interview, those ones.
I thought you said
not
you
to
got
say,
good kids.
Not to say the guys that lost aren't good kids either. It's not, you know, I'm not trying to differentiate winners and losers here, but at the end of the day, you don't get any medals for second place, right?
Well,
you
at the end of the day,
silver one.
When you're interviewing everyone and everyone watching at home, everyone's a winner. Now, one person that is more of a winner in particular is, of course, the DoorDash player that delivered. And, you know, I think it's no surprises here that it is going to be Kiyose for that spectacular performance in mid lane. 11-1-7, 90% kill participation.
Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for too much more than that. Skimmy, why is this impressive?
It's just so crazy to me that, you know, you can just bully a mid laner so hard and just make a champion completely irrelevant, right? You know, he was literally egoing on Wei and made him just look, you know, terrible as a champion, right? You talk about niche set up there with the Kiana, but he just made him irrelevant. And the fact is that wherever he went, you were terrified, right? Even if he didn't even participate in a fight like that Dragon, the rest of the team are getting stuff accomplished elsewhere, right? Like Staff is able to pick up an inhibitor. So just a champion as a whole, when it gets to that accelerated point in the game, just unstoppable.
Completely unstoppable. Now, Rusty.
Hey.
You know, the main question. Hey, as well.
Hey.
The main question, 9 wards placed over what was a bit over 30 minutes or close to 30-minute game. Is that enough?
Look, Mac, that's not a lot of wards, but I will say this. He had a Dark Seal with 10 stacks on it, and one of the most conflicting sells of your life is choosing, do I get rid of a 10-stack Dark Seal for 2 control wards, or do I keep it because it's useful? And a 10-stack Dark Seal, if you're carrying the game, it's probably worth it.
Okay, so it sounds like that was a good trade-off. Juice, you said you love a little bit of AP jungling. Dark Seal?
Always, must buy.
Yep.
And I'll tell you why it's a must buy. Because it goes both ways. You start snowballing, 10 stacks, instant Medjais. So Kiyose should have bought a Medjais on the 10 stacks, I'll say that much. Then, you die a couple times, you just rush Medjais anyway, because it's just a coin flip. Flip the coin, lands on heads, all of a sudden a couple skirmies here and there, you've got 6 to 8 stacks, then you start laughing a little bit, one more, then we're talking about some real big value. So I'm a big Darksteel fiend.
And the sell value of Medjai's is actually quite good for the
Yeah.
cost of it. So it's actually
Underrated.
like good for the return on investment, even though it's a risk.
Well, I'll tell you what else is risky. Going up against a team who you're almost tied up with on the ladder. That's going to be Order and Direwolves, which is going to be the third game of the night. And that's going to be coming up just after a break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go too far. Enjoy Send It by Hooligan Heps, and we'll see you in just a moment.
Straight from Way. Now he knows he's been juked by the Swan so many times. This time it connects. This time! This Cold Force, so he's just a fraction more durable. Has the flash, has the heal, has the ability to just try and run down members like this, but might just die for free. Oh no, the wild growth, and it overlaps there. With the stopwatch, he's just an easy picking. He might just die. He certainly does. The Ignite takes him down and just needs to shut down here for this insanely fed LeBlanc.